crimes of the future are the crimes the human body commits against itself, and that is the jumping off point of what David Cronenberg's newest movie is about. This one was released stateside on Blu-ray, which is how I saw it first. Then at a later date, the 4K came along, but I wanted to wait for Second Sight's release, because they have also released it on 4K, with a bunch of new bonus features, and we are going to be having a look at the standard edition release of that today. First off, the case, it's very basic. We have newly commissioned artwork on the front, bonus features and specs on the back, and then on the inside, we've got the single 4K disc. Now let's go jump into my Poller, pop the disc into the player, and have a look at what bonus features are included on this release. I've already got it on mute because it is playing music from the movie and I don't want to get flagged for copyright. So we have got an audio commentary, then we have got a bunch of interviews. Most of these are kind of press junket style interviews, less than 10 minutes. What do we got here? This one is actually 26 minutes long. He goes very in depth about working with Cronenberg. Another one that's only a few minutes long. Cinematographer, that one's interesting since it was his first time working with Cronenberg. What else we got? Editor, New Flesh, Future Crimes, The Body in David Cronenberg. That is a video essay that's about, I think it's 18 minutes long, goes into his entire career. The Making of Crimes of the Future, about a 22-minute behind-the-scenes featurette. Production design materials that show some of the original concepts, as well as them testing some of the effects work for the movie. And the short film, The Death of David Cronenberg, and I think that's the last thing. Yep, back to the audio commentary. All right, so let's get back into the other room and go over what the 4K presentation looks like. As I just mentioned, David was working with a new cinematographer on this one, but you can still tell that it is 100% a Cronenberg movie. And in addition to a new cinematographer, he was also not shooting in Toronto, not shooting in Canada at all. He went over to Greece to film this movie. So I'm very used to Cronenberg movies having a very bleak, dreary look to them, and I was surprised how warm this movie is. There is a lot of orange in this movie, surprisingly, in stark contrast to how bleak both the story and the characters are. And also, if you haven't seen the movie before, it is very, very dark. There is a lot of blackness surrounding the characters. And that was the main thing I was really curious about with how the 4K would look. Because when I first saw it on Blu-ray, I really didn't think the cinematography was that great because it felt very flat. Now that I'm seeing it on a 4K disc with Dolby Vision, seeing those blacks the way they're meant to be seen adds an extreme amount of depth to the picture. There isn't any crushing, there aren't any bitrate problems that I could point out. There is an extraordinarily fine, even layer of grain throughout the whole movie. Textures are beautifully detailed, and while I have not seen the American release on 4K, comparing this 4K release to the Blu-ray release, it is heads and tails better than that one. I am biased because I really do enjoy Second Sight's encoding, but for a 4K release of a new film, this is how you want it to look. And I think that is going to wrap things up for today. So I hope you found this informative. If you have any questions about this release, don't hesitate to ask them down in the comments because I will do my best to try and answer them for you. And as always, I will wish you pleasant days and spooky nights. Until next time.